Brendan Allen, who took this fight on about 3 weeks' notice, guys, replacing the injured Anthony Fluffy Hernandez, derails the RDR hype train in a fight that I think a lot of people were not picking him to win, in a fight that I think a lot of people thought would be RDR, maybe giving Nasruddin Imavov, a little bit of a run for his money in terms of the race to get to Khamzat. Remember, if RDR would have won, that would have been 5 wins for him in the span of approximately 365 days, 4 wins this year. He's coming off a tremendous win over Robert Whittaker, a tremendous win prior to that over Bo Nickel, and he got thoroughly dominated by Brendan Allen. Again, Brendan Allen, who was on a bit of a run, lost, came back this summer, beat Marvin Vettori, but I think a lot of people were not expecting him. A sizable, I'm trying to find here, he was an underdog, I do believe, going into this fight, right?
He was like 2.5.
Plus 185.
RDR was a like 2.5 to 1 favorite.
Yeah. Brendan Allen, a plus 185. And he went in there and he broke him. He broke him to the point where in between the 4th and 5th rounds, RDR's corner stopped the fight. And he heard it afterwards. He heard it from everyone. RDR heard it from Khamzat Chimaev via Twitter. We have Khamzat weighing in here. This bullshit guy give up. We have it from Paulo Costa. If I knew it would only last 4 rounds, I would go for it. Meaning he was asked to take this fight, I guess, on short notice. And he's joking like, hey, I could have lasted 4 rounds. Terrence McKinney, I guess when you're done, you're done. Caio Borralho, all the middleweights weighing in. Did RDR let's go back there, sorry. Did RDR get injured in the fight or he just give up? Real question, guys. Laughing emoji. Imavov knew it, laughing. Everyone clowning on RDR. His coach, his head coach weighing in, Harun Ozkan. Normally, I don't share personal things on here, but I feel I owe a little explanation to everyone who's been behind us. First of all, thank you for the amazing support we've been receiving. It's been a crazy and busy year so far. Last night didn't go as we wanted. After a strong start in the first round, things quickly started fading, and we couldn't really recover from the shots in and after the second round. I made the call to stop the fight after the 4th round. I take full responsibility for that decision, and it was the right call to make for me in the moment. It's not a decision I ever wanted to make, but I guess sometimes you have to. My job is to coach, but also to look for my fighter's health. I've been with Reinier for basically his whole career and saw too many signs that made me step in. If I didn't do anything, he would have continued the fight. Rather than risk unnecessary damage, I decided to call it a day and go home as healthy as possible, live to fight another day. I absolutely do not care about pleasing others if it comes at the cost of someone's health. There's a thin line between, quote, being tough and watching out for your health. This sport can be brutal. These guys sacrifice a lot of their life in and out of the cage. There's no need for excess damage. If it can be avoided, most people forget they're human too. 0 excuses for this loss. We knew what we were going for. We are not happy with the performance, but for now, recovery first, evaluate some stuff, and we'll be back next year. It has been an amazing year overall. I'm thankful for all the highs and lows. Proud of my brother, RDR. We've come a long way. The reason I wanted to read all of that is I commend this coach. We don't see this enough. The fact that I feel like he almost has to defend the decision is crazy to me. Very rarely in boxing do you see a head coach or a head trainer having to defend the decision to stop the fight. It happens all the time, but in our sport, you're clowned on. And I know there was a jockeying position, and I know he has said some stuff. I don't know if it's his account, not his account. Who the hell knows? But you're being dunked on for just saying, you know what? Let me live to fight another day. RDR was not winning that fight. He won the first round, thoroughly dominated in the next 3 rounds, lived to fight another day. Absolutely the right call. Absolutely the right call. And Brendan Allen looks great in all of this because he says afterwards, like, hey, I told you before, he's not that guy. And I just told you again, he's not that guy. And good for him. He proved it. I feel bad for RDR that he's got it. Like the guy's had a tremendous year. No one thought he'd beat Bo Nickel. And then they thought he'd get exposed by Robert Whittaker. He has proven to be exactly who he said he was coming into the UFC. Even his UFC debut was a little come see, comes out. And then afterwards, it was all, smooth sailing up until this point in 2025. That was his 4th fight of 2025. But obviously, he needs a bit of a break now. And the big takeaway from the fight is, of course, now there's no discussion. Now there's no mystery. It's Khamzat Chimaev versus Nasruddin Imavov for the belt. If RDR would have won and won in spectacular fashion, I think he would have made them think. I think he would have made them ponder what's the best move. it's Imavov. And let me be clear, as we said it, after he won in France in September, this was, Imavov did what he had to do. Now it was up to Fluffy and or RDR to steal it away. Fluffy gets hurt, RDR loses. It's a done deal. Pizzi, agree or disagree?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think we'd be hypocrites if we came on here today and we were like, oh, this guy quitting on a steal. We've said it so many times that fighters need to be saved from themselves. And I honestly didn't think there was a possibility of RDR getting back into that fight. There was no way I was watching that going, oh, maybe he can do something in the fifth. He looked completely out on his feet, looked like it was finished from his point of view. So like you, I commend the coach for that. I think it does set up Imavov, but just on RDR again, he's taking this fight on short notice as well. Like, he was obviously very prepared for someone like Fluffy. Allen's had a great performance, but like, you can't on one hand be going, well done taking this guy on short notice, saving this show, keeping it going, and then be like, wow, I can't believe this guy quit on the stool. It's you can't please everyone. It's not a good thing. This happens often in the sport, but I'm with you. I think that the coach did a great job.
Anyone disagree with Imavov being next? It's kind of the obvious one, right?
No, he's got to be next.
I don't know who else you could suggest.
The only thing that this is going to come down to is the thing that it always comes down to is timing. If Imavov can go when they want to make that fight, great. If he can't, maybe Brendan gets a call, maybe Fluffy gets a call. Who knows how that goes? But if Imavov is healthy and can go when they want to do that fight, he's the first option.
So you look at the middleweight division. Khamzat is the champion. Dricus is still ranked number 1. Imavov number 2 is obviously not Dricus next. Nasruddin, as we say, should be next. 3 is Strickland, 4 is RDR, 5 is Izzy, 6 is Fluffy, 7 is Kaio, 8 is Robert, 9 is Brendan Allen, and then 10 is Michael Venom Page. I tweeted afterwards that I think it should be Khamzat versus Imavov next. I think it should be Brendan Allen versus DDP next. And then I think it should be Fluffy versus Strickland next. Remember, Allen and Fluffy fought not that long ago, so I don't know if we have to see that just yet. And I like the idea of Fluffy getting a big fight against Strickland. If he wins, he should then be next, meaning next after the winner of Khamzat versus Imavov. And then if Strickland wins, now all of a sudden he's right back in the mix. DDP needs a fight against a big name, but not someone who is next to derail that guy, because you don't want to put DDP in a position where he's next for Khamzat Chimaev because he just got thoroughly beat down. And so I kind of like this. What do you think, Rick?
So then we're maybe Kaio and Izzy. What do you do with those guys?
Love Kaio and Izzy. There also is, I think MVP is moving up the ranks at 185. He's in the mix as well.
MVP Whitaker.
Very fun.
I feel like these all kind of make sense. It all has sorted itself out to a certain degree.
Well, the other thing is like, do you do Brendan Allen maybe? Do you do Brendan Allen versus Fluffy? Like, does Brendan and you just run it?
As you said, we just saw that. Like, I
saw
don't
it in LFA. We saw it.
I know.
Yeah,
I don't think
good.
we need to see it again. I think you give them a fresh matchup.
Keep them separate. Keep them growing.
Strickland. I like the Strickland versus Fluffy fight.
Yeah, I like it a lot.
Put that on a pay-per-view. Maybe
Put
like
that
a featured bout or something.
Co-main event, maybe 5-round, number 1 contender.
I'm down.
But it's kind of a number 1 contender for one guy. I don't know if Strickland.
No, Strickland could jump into a title shot with Khamzat with the heat they've got going. If Strickland wins that fight, I'm putting Strickland in there, no problem.
Did you say who's next for RDR?
RDR is going to need a really long time off. I think.
He needs a break.
Like I think like all these guys will fight before he fights.
I think so too. I mean, 5 fights in 12 months is insane.
In less than a year's time, this guy went from, is he going to beat Kevin Holland, to top 5 ranked contender. There is nothing to be sad about. There is nothing to mourn at this point. Like, RDR has really done a lot of work in this year's time. I love what his coach did. Take a break, reset, and then come back against another top contender. Like, he's done a lot in this year's time. Take some time off. No problem. Easy.
What about Izzy versus RDR? I feel like Izzy's like down for one fight a year at this point.
I was going to say, I think the timeline depends on when Izzy's coming back, when he's going to fight again. I mean, he's DJing these days.
He's a big-time DJ.
He's got the turntables out, man.
It feels like we haven't seen Izzy in a while, so I would expect him to come back before I'd want to probably see RDR back. But if the timings line up, I don't hate that fight either.
Yeah, his last fight was in February.
Yeah.
And so, like, if he comes back in February, that's probably...
Then what do you do with Kaio? Kaio seems like almost an odd man out at that point. these are good problems to have. There's a
Yes.
lot of middleweight contenders. There's a lot of fresh matchups. There's a lot of fights that could be made.
Does it all kind of feel though that they're sort of like the same, like in that there's no superstar fight for Khamzat right now?
No, there's not.
There's no like. I feel like welterweight. There's like, oh man, like who's like that little thing that we were talking about all week last week.
Yeah.
And all these guys are kind of, I don't know how to describe it.
The two biggest names in the division are Strickland and Israel Adesanya. And if Israel Adesanya fights this infrequently, I don't see how he ultimately gets back to a title shot. I think he's probably past the title contention days. And for Strickland, if he wins, I think he would have a strong case to be next, just because Khamzat will probably want that fight.
I wonder if they give a guy like a Joe Pyfer, like someone on the outside looking in the top 10, one of these dudes.
Yeah,
That's true.
could fast track somebody.
Yeah. And, they've been known to do that if they believe in someone. I mean, to a degree, they were trying to do that with Bo Nickel by putting him in there against RDR, and Nickel's fighting next month.
We are
at
at
Square Garden.
that issue again. I guess, obviously a lot of these guys just fought, but I don't think anyone in the top 10 has a fight now in middleweight.
Right. But yes, a lot of them either just fought or got injured. Khamzat just fought in August.